Alright, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Episode 3.
Youth with Dio.
Youth with Dio. Now that obviously seems to be implying to the eternal youth potential of being a vampire, no?
Sure.
It could also be
totally
that this is the last episode of the youth part, where they're actually younger.
Right.
And that could make it really intense if we then have
battle between men.
Well, I know, but this is essentially like the prologue then. Like these 3 episodes could be
I
just
totally
like that beginning part of the story.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so dramatized and over the top. I mean, it's JoJo's.
And we don't fully know what that means yet.
We don't know what that means yet either. So I'm looking forward to a really good fight.
Me too.
Really good brawl.
Yes.
Because we've now noted that Jonathan is strong enough to take Dio. But if
maybe not if Dio's a vampire.
Dio is a vampire, and they're
I'm almost certain
having this battle in the dark of the mansion.
Yeah,
what if he kills Joseph? Is that even possible? I would say no.
I've seen a lot of strange things happen in anime. I'd say anything's on the table, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay, I will say it's not going to happen either. But let's find out what will happen. Ominous. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
油断させて一気にナイフでぶっ殺してやる。僕は悔いているんだ。今までの人生をその証に自首するために戻ってきたんだ。
Bring him the tears.
逃亡しようと思えば外国でもどこへでも行けたはずなのに。確かに。
That actually is a good point.
罪の償いがしたいんだ。ディオ。ジョースターさん、気
を
信じるなよ。ジョースターさん。 アマちゃんのあんたが好きだから一つをだから悪い人間の区別は匂いでわかる。
And Dio's bad through and through.
Dio.
ゲロ以下の匂いがブンブンするぜ。
I did not expect this.
Yeah, me neither. Oh!
Holy crap.
話は聞いたよ。
Holy crap. Whoa! The tides have turned!
Okay!
I thought he was buying into it completely.
This is where he's gonna bust out the vampire powers, isn't it?
Oh crap, yeah. Crap! If I'm not human, I have no limits.
Yeah.
Whoa, no.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Oh no!
Too late.
Yeah. I mean, I knew the dad was gonna die, but dang,
yeah,
dad was awesome.
ディオ・ブランドーの父親をルトーの刑にしていれば。ディオ・ブランドーの父親。ブランドーというコソ泥が七に流そうとしている寸前でした。ブランドーはジョースター教の命の恩人ということだった。だがとんでもない。奴はバスの事故を幸い金品を漁っていた小ずるい悪党だったのだ。やべえ。君。 彼はこう言わなかったかね。この指輪は私からもらったと。
No way.
言いましたとも。とんでもない嘘をね。いや、嘘ではない。
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saw that coming.
なんですって？
彼は無実だ。釈放してやってくれたまえ。家族に何か買ってやってください。
Wow.
そして。
And instead he used it all on alcohol.
善の人になるのです。
ジョースター卿は全てを知った上でディオを養子にしたのだ。父さん、しっかり。
So his adopting of the son was the hope that he could save the son.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
私が悪かったのだ。
Wow.
息子ゆえにお前には厳しくしたが、ディオの気持ちからするとかえって不平等に感じたかもしれない。
ジョースター卿、あの父親の精神は息子のジョナサン・ジョースターが立派に受け継いでいる。
Yes.
それは彼の
That's
強い
right.
意志となり誇りとなり。
This is foreshadowing.
死体がディオ・ブランドの死体がない。
And he left the mask.
サスの旦那、窓から離れろ。
Oh!
What?
Oh! Holy
こ
crap.
っちに向かってくるぞ。何してる。早く狙撃しろ。ディオ、止まれ。ディオ。
Holy crap.
ジョジョ、俺はこんなに素晴らしい力を手に入れたぞ。石仮面からお前の父親の力。
Oh.
How is JoJo gonna survive this exactly?
I think he's gonna just bring him pain. He's not gonna kill him
Yeah.
because he wants to break him.
研究ノートの未知の能力、未知の力。脳、石仮面の骨神は脳から人間の隠された未知の能力を引き出したに違いない。
Oh,
と
interesting.
するとディオを倒す可能性は。
So it's
How does
not,
he know
it's
that?
not strictly vampires.
Oh!
これ以上ディオに殺戮を許すわけにはいかん。止めやがった。
Yeah.
そして止めやがった。
This is a fun little, like, kind of thing of them. Whoa! His voice.
Yeah.
もう少しこの素晴らしい
Yep.
を楽し
Oh, crap.
Okay.
分でもどこまでできるかまだわからないからな。言ったろうジョジョ。策を浪すれば浪する
Wow.
ほど
Okay.
人間には限界があるの
This is
だ。
terrifying.
無駄な悪あが
You
きは
just gave a
よくない。
complete, like,
人間の陰でこうやって
amoral
ない
psychopath, unlimited power.
Yeah. Or at least pretty close.
Whoa.
策ではない。勇気だ。
Holy crap. Oh, they're gonna burn down the mansion and they'll get away in the fire.
Yeah.
Oh, legit.
Wait.
Sweet moves. He's getting away. Or at least he's trying to.
Yeah.
上がってくるんだ。
Yep.
ディオ。
Oh, crap.
仲間から注意をそらすため俺を
I don't think you care, do you, Dio?
よかろう。
Yep, it doesn't matter.
Those visuals.
Yeah.
貴様だ。
Oh.
貧弱
Did it-
貧弱。これからその青春に決着をつけてやる。貴様引き換えにってよ。君の力を封じよう。
Oh.
Goodbye, JoJo.
Goodbye.
ほんの一瞬だが、お前の覚悟には驚いたぞ。父親の死体と共に死ねて、嬉し涙を流しな、マヌケ。俺は人間を超えた。不死身、不老不死。
Okay.
Hey.
is where Dio leaves him for dead. Holy crap, dude. Oh, dang. That was fantastic. Rule of cool for the win.
Absolutely.
Falling down the pit and fighting each
Of
other
their
on the
own
way down.
burning mansion. Yep.
Yes. Oh. Ah!
いくら火力が強くても脱出できるぐらいの能力はあるはずさ。蹴った壁を蹴った先には
Whoa!
ジョースター家の守護神慈愛の女神像。
Nice!
よくも貴様こんなこんなはずでは俺の人生。
No way!
No way.
No way.
No way.
この人は勝ったんだ。
Okay, we didn't see that coming for a second.
No.
Not even close. We're like, well, maybe JoJo gets out of this. Like,
Right, like-
maybe Jonathan's got like, you know, just a little bit of a chance. You know, maybe Dio will play with him and not,
Yeah.
which he kind of did.
Which he kind of did. But
Oh my God, that was a
wait, okay.
fight.
So that definitely
That was a showdown.
fight.
But
That was a
is
showdown.
Dio
But
dead?
it's episode 3. Like, Dio can't actually be dead.
But what if he is?
Okay, he could be. Now, what if it was that, like, every 3 episodes or something like that, they did something like this?
They did little mini arcs.
Yeah, with a new villain, and they built him up, and then they had this epic conclusion. Now, although that could get repetitive if they did that.
I think it would get repetitive, but I think that there's the possibility that Dio could still be alive.
Right.
But what it will be is that Dio will have like a return, you know, and that's where but it was
Sure.
me, Dio memes can get even stronger.
Okay.
Because it's
Yeah.
like, you thought you had done away with me, but it was me, you know.
Yeah.
So like some character comes back in
Sure.
a mask or something, very,
Right.
you know, that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Now here's
Holy
another
crap.
here's another reason why I would
Wow.
say there's potentially like not everything's resolved. We didn't see what happened with the mask. It was just thrown out on the ground.
Well, that's the point, is that I think the mask will be used in future plot lines. It's
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
a plot instigator.
Yeah.
It instigates plot.
But wow, like
Wow. Yeah. So we had the whole reveal in that everyone in the house was in on it. They were all
Yes.
very much aware of what Dio was doing, and
That
Dio's
was-
little scheme
that was
wasn't
awesome
going to work.
because that shows that Jonathan, even though he's naive and even though he was, you know, constantly wanting to believe in Dio,
Right.
he still was smart enough to plan ahead.
Right. Also, it gives a lot of added. This episode really redeemed George Joestar, the father, in our minds.
Way redeemed him
immensely.
a ton.
Because it's
Yeah.
not that he was naive.
Right.
It's that he was trying to save Dio.
Or it was that he was naive. It wasn't that he was stupid.
Yes.
Right.
That's a great clarification. Because he was essentially trying to save Dio from becoming like his father.
Right.
By his knowledge of what
Yeah.
Dio could become.
Right.
And it kind of hits home for me because Jacob and
Yeah.
I have had and have foster brothers. They became brothers, like, you know, to
Yeah.
us. But we've had issues in the past that we knew we would potentially get into
Right.
because of the potential for, you know,
Just
stuff. And
Yeah.
this whole thing with Dio, it makes
It's-
me have some instinctive thing to be like, well, maybe there's some context to Dio. Maybe
Right.
it'll be a little bit better. But
which is one of the reasons why I really want Dio to still be alive, because
Yes,
because
yes.
I don't want him to actually get redeemed, because with the way they've set him up that wouldn't feel right. But I want there to still be that conflict between JoJo and Dio.
yeah,
And
and
it's really good.
And what they did with George Joestar being very much involved in the whole process, very much aware, and then coming to this end, basically gave us a very fitting end to where this character could die, and it would still have a lot of weight to it. Like, a lot of weight to
because
it.
before this episode, if like, the idea of George Joestar dying, I didn't really care. Like,
yeah, but we knew he was gonna die.
We knew he was gonna die, but it's like, okay, yeah, he's the last familial figure that has to die so that JoJo can go on his bizarre adventure.
Right.
But wow, that was handled very well.
And I loved the random cameo of the side character that he met in the previous episode, who was like, "You are a true gentleman. I like your style."
That was
like
awesome.
Tried to kill him with his little dumb spinning blade hat, which I think is just going to be an average thing we'll see on JoJo's Bizarre
If this
Adventure.
episode was any indication, I'm pretty sure that will be subpar.
Yeah, subpar, actually, not even average. Because, holy crap, once everything started going too well, we're like, well, crap, then Dio's obviously a vampire.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It wasn't even then. He hadn't become a vampire yet. He was going to rely on human schemes, which is what he brought up, as he realized, human scheming has a limit. What I can do as a human has a limit. What if not being a human makes me go beyond
and
my
he was
limit?
already in like a vampire getup, the
outfits in this show are on point.
Yes.
They just know how to sell the
style,
the swag, and the I would say almost the swagger, not like the typical way we use the word swag, but kind of that saunter that he had when he was stalking up towards JoJo.
Yeah. Because if you think about it,
so
that fight part where Dio becomes a vampire and kills all the people and stuff,
right?
As far as like what actually happened, that could have been boring.
Oh, it could have been very boring
with the amount of time that they spent on it and everything. But because of the style, because of the way they used the visuals and everything about it, you were just sucked into it.
You were sucked into. But for real though, the dramatic tension of the violence too.
It
like
totally made it.
Like I normally don't want to tout shows that do like graphic violence as like a thing that makes it better. But it's like this the violence like added some like really carnal, visceral nature to it.
Because since JoJo has been the whole show has been so over the top, right? Mm-hmm. It was fitting, right? Because Dio was bad through and through. Like he was just the epitome of evil scumbag, right?
Right.
So thereby having the deaths from what he does be brutal, that was also very fitting because it's going along with the theme of this guy just needs to be stopped.
Right, but there was no limit to its ridiculousness either.
Right.
He basically smacked someone and broke the top half of their head off.
Right. Yep.
So it's like there's not this whole idea where they're trying to recreate the perfect physics of the whole thing.
Right.
It's more of the strike, and then 3 seconds later, blood everywhere, and it's just done.
Exactly.
But then they had little bits where they actually did have some more realisticness, where he was touching the blood and he put it between his fingers and he pulled it apart
and it did
it stretched because of the texture of blood being much like that, and then it gets a little bit sticky, and I was like that's fantastic. That's that added bit of grounded realism amidst the ridiculousness that is JoJo's.
Like that point where what was it, JoJo stabs him in the hand with the pike, and Dio's standing there suspended, hanging just on the pike that is in his hand, and
at a diagonal in the air,
and then from that he bends the pike on JoJo's shoulder,
and not that he just bends it one way,
but he like gets it to completely buckle and then turns it around
in like a multiple way there. So and that was the part where we're just like, all right, this is JoJo's again. This is fantastic.
And they did a very good balance of having all that craziness in there, but then at the same time having like the moment with George when he died, and making it actually be heartfelt.
Yeah. So, Dio, we both think he's going to be alive, right? Like, we both think he's not dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it would be a bit of a waste to kill Dio at this point, and especially considering the meme power that he seems to have. I would be surprised if he died in the first 3 episodes.
I would think there's almost no possibility he survives, but if there is, the way I could see them taking the story on is his journey with the mask. if JoJo goes out and now has to basically find his own way, he could basically do a discovery journey where he learns about things with the mask and finds out about this whole other world of what's going on. Because I could see this as being a potential prologue where they then basically have a time skip and he's well all the way into his adventures.
Right.
And
then just Dio comes back.
And Dio comes back like way in the future.
Yeah.
Because what my thoughts are is that Dio's end here is an end. Like, they wrapped it up so perfectly, except for like completely showing the house burnt, decompose, and everything.
Right.
But they showed him starting to burn away to ash.
Right.
Which means that if he does come back, he's not coming back the very next episode unless they do a ridiculous time skip.
Right.
Which is why I think they have to do some kind of time skip so they can at least accelerate Dio's return into this core.
Sure.
Because I could see them basically having like a 5-episode break of no Dio.
And then he comes
Dio
back for the end of it?
Yeah,
sure.
for the end of it.
Yeah. And okay, isn't that just... All right. We had something where we have the main character fighting the bad guy, who's, the rival type character, right? But definitely the bad guy in this case.
Oh, absolutely.
First time they fight, bad guy, rival, loses when he thought he was better.
Right.
But the main character just managed to beat him somehow.
Right.
So he goes away. He gets stronger. He gets this new power.
Right.
He comes back. And still, the main character somehow manages...
By the power of fate and luck and the gods and the dice of chance of whatever.
He manages to beat him again. I love how they handled that.
They did it just well enough that I forgot about the trope.
Right.
Because I didn't think that JoJo had to win.
Right. I didn't think he was going to win.
When we were earlier before this episode, we were discussing it. We're like, so is JoJo gonna live? It wasn't is Dio gonna live.
Right.
We're like, no, JoJo's gonna lose the fight.
Right.
But it's the question of, will Dio kill him or not?
But I mean, it is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, not Dio's.
I know, but one of the crazy thoughts I had, Jacob, was that
JoJo would get turned into a vampire.
Turned into a vampire to save him, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And I didn't know what side character would come in out of nowhere with the mask and put it on him and stuff, but
right, that would have been crazy if basically
that would have been a little bit weird.
they had done a time skip where now Dio's like basically kind of like a Megamind thing.
Yeah,
where it's like it's meaningless now without a rival. So then he like somehow resurrects JoJo with the mask.
Yeah, I wouldn't like it if he did it, but I would have liked it to say if JoJo came back.
Sure.
Like we time skip and Dio is now like, at the top of opulence and all that.
Right.
And JoJo comes out of, the shadows. I think that would be a little bit anti-thematic with what they have going for thus far.
That's true.
So I like that they chose the fate option of this just had to happen. And it was good because we didn't expect it as viewers.
And do you think that ring has any actual power?
No. I think that it is a keepsake. It will be one of those items that the hero takes along that has a lot of sentimental value.
Sure.
And it will be his tie back to his past. And he'll look back at it every once in a while and have a little flashback.
So do you think maybe then that what they're going to do is they're going to take the sort of the idea of the main character always winning, but instead of basically having that be a flaw, they're going to embrace it and work it in as a theme of this idea of fate being something that can actually have like actual effects and consequences and stuff.
I think what they're going to do is they're not going to shy away from damaging our hero.
Yes, I certainly hope so.
Bringing pain and struggle and all this.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this story understands the idea of struggle.
Right.
Really being an important theme of the story.
Yeah.
And right now, what we went through is basically a very intense climactic struggle, but they condensed it down to a very short period of time, years and years over a short period of time.
3 episodes, which is
to drive the point.
That's impressive.
I mean, it was a very slow-paced episode in like the second one, and this one had slow moments where they were all like, "No, it's not possible," kind of characters on the sideline, and that's okay.
Yeah, but they were able to sell it really well.
Right, but it's all about form, really, with JoJo's. I think that functionally, the story is good. Like, it's good. but form-wise, it's almost near perfect. Like, there's one of the things that we like to talk about, which is like the actual execution of something.
Sure.
And I think JoJo's is an example of a foundational execution point on a thing that's pretty, that kind of waxes into being very deep, but every once in a while it kind of shifts back into just over-the-top mode. Okay. And as long as it keeps the execution strong, we'll have a good time.
Yes.
But I think that's something we can't guarantee with a show like this because it's been going for so long.
However, two things to keep in mind on that, though.
Yeah.
Is that a lot of the things that are, like, basic, but it's executing it well.
Right.
A lot of that stuff, I get the feeling JoJo's, like, was the first one to do it. And that's why it became a thing, because they executed it so well.
Absolutely.
And two,
Brain fart?
Brain fart.
Okay. Well, you think of that. Well, one of the things that I kind of got brought to mind here is that Dio's character essentially started an arc and then died.
Yes.
So that is like another bit of evidence to show that they're not going to die.
Right.
But if he is dead, and in 10 episodes we haven't seen Dio, but we've also seen characters who basically died at times that it was just like, wow, that could be a really cool theme to actually have in a long-running show like this, where sorry, people are just gonna die sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes fate's gonna come knocking and your time's up.
That would be pretty awesome.
That would be surprising, but I don't think this show needs to have it all make perfect sense. One of the things I'm kind of excited that they haven't done yet is introduced any kind of rules yet. One of the things that this show has a really good thing of doing is like going into the rule of cool with like both hands, and everything. Just full body, just diving into the rule of pool.
Yes.
Rule of cool pool.
Yes, absolutely.
There is a pool that is the rule of cool pool, and some people dive into it.
Yep. And just make
full body, like everything. And I think
Big
JoJo's
splash.
is that.
Sure.
And them introducing rules in the future might be necessary, but right now I'm glad they haven't.
Right. What I was going to say is that the other reason that I don't think we have to worry about the execution getting worse in later times is because everyone seems to be saying that this is actually the weak part of JoJo's.
Yes, but I'm meaning like inconsistency. I'm not talking about the higher peaks being generally higher. I'm talking about like moments where, like, say in the very next 2 to 3 episodes, Dio's gone, for instance.
Sure.
And suddenly now the show isn't as good because its main antagonist isn't here.
Sure, and that could be the reason maybe why the earlier episodes people say aren't as good. Yeah.
That's a very possibility.
That's
a
very
good
possible.
possibility. One of the things that I meant by things, kind of being less consistent execution-wise going forward is we could have a Great Divide episode in like season 2 randomly.
Sure.
And then it's just like...
But one-off episodes aren't like, they'll stand out and they'll, it's like, oh, that's unfortunate. But it's not really enough to tarnish the experience of the overall show.
No, but if it's like a really bad episode, then it can. It's kind of the way that Excalibur from Soul Eater was very polarizing. Some people loved it. Some people hated it. I was one of those weird sick bastards that loved it.
Good old Excalibur.
Yep. Well, I forgot. Did you love it or like it or hate it? Or...
I was a bit confused.
You were just confused. You're just like, what?
I was
like, experiencing?
I was like, okay, they're doing this.
Okay, so you're not as obvious with the whether or not you like or dislike. That's fine. With JoJo's going this far in this kind of house setting, the adventure hasn't started yet, right?
No, it hasn't. If anything, the adventure should be starting right now, because now he has to leave home because he doesn't have a home anymore. He said it himself.
Yeah, that's a great point. But, like, where's the direction for this show? So I think The Mask has an element of plot direction.
Sure. Yeah.
But I feel like they need to introduce something in the next episode as kind of an aftermath of this.
Yeah, possibly.
Maybe that's actually what it'll be. The next episode, we resolve whether or not Dio is alive.
Okay.
Right? To an extent. I just said, someone on Twitter said, like, take a shot anytime Caleb says to an extent. So, sorry, guys. I keep saying it. It's a weird thing of mine. But if Dio is ambiguously dead, he's alive.
Right.
If he's alive, he's alive. And the only way I think they can show that he's dead
is if he has a head on a spike that is kept in a glass case and JoJo carries it around everywhere.
Right. They do something ridiculous that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that he's dead.
Right.
And I don't think they'll do that.
I don't think so either.
But they can recap with the story and basically maybe send
and then do a time skip?
Jonathan on like a quest to meet another family member. Maybe he's
Possibly.
like, maybe I have an uncle somewhere that I can, go and stay with.
They could also just do a time skip and say, here's where JoJo is at right now. This is what his life is like. He's basically moved on from what happened.
Right.
Right.
I think that would be great.
That way they can introduce maybe a new villain, right? And then that way Dio
maybe something
can come
episodic.
Right. Something a bit more episodic, or just like really small arcs.
Right.
And then Dio can come in at the end.
That would be great. I think that'd be fun. I think, if anything, we need more development for Jonathan. Jonathan got a lot this episode.
He did.
He got a small amount in the second episode, and I tried to make sure it was in the edits of that episode because it showed basically his willingness to go after his goals.
Right, yes.
And his true, honest nature, I would say.
Yeah.
But it would be fun to see him have some different struggles. And that could be handled very well in an episodic nature where you have a little tight, compact 1-2 episode story arc and take him through a little bit of a different struggle. In that
because
regard.
This show is supposedly an adventure first and foremost.
Yes,
so
but it's bizarre.
It is bizarre.
Please surprise us again like this episode.
Because that was very much appreciated.
Amazing. The best episode we've seen thus far. Probably. I think it beats the first episode.
Yeah, probably.
I think it beats the first episode because the first episode... Well, the first episode is really, really good.
Yeah.
I think that's a very rare thing, is having a first episode that's
even though
about that good.
Even though it totally, the later episodes, do very much surprise you, the first episode gives you a good shock bit of how much this show is going to surprise you and how different it's going to be.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times if you don't do that, then it can either go very well or very bad.
Right. I would say generally it goes kind of somewhere in the middle and it just kind of lands flat.
Which I would say is bad.
Yeah, bad. Generally that's bad. I would say landing flat is bad, but I meant somewhere in the middle, meaning it's average. No one's going to say it's bad, but it's it was a beginning, Most people just kind of excuse beginnings because it's well,
you have to get to this
episode
right.
first.
Yeah.
But I think JoJo's decided this 3 first episodes, we're going to make sure that they get to the meat of everything really quickly. And hey, that's the 3 episode rule of anime, right?
Yep. And I
mean, there you go.
And boy, does this show pass.
They deliver on the 3 episode
with flying, posing colors.
Yep. The poses were here.
They were.
When Dio came in through the window.
Oh yeah.
And he was hanging upside down there.
Yep.
Those are fantastic.
And then of course you could say that the part where he's suspended on the pike diagonally in the air. That was a bit of a pose, I think.
That was so weird, but I loved it.
Because at first I was is he still are his feet still on the roof? And I was like, no, they're not.
No,
he's just hanging there.
Yep. Hey, using your belt to get that extra bit of reach.
That so reminded me of the Balrog.
That was great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it did remind me of Gandalf and the Balrog and all that. Little inverted roles, but I just loved the whole thing of the 2 rivals falling down the pit,
that was
fighting each other.
That was so fantastic. That's the kind of thing you expect from a series finale, not from episode 3.
Right.
Wow.
All right, guys. I guess we could go into maybe some crack theories. What do you think the whole deal is with the vampire thing? Do you think that's going to be a recurring thing, or do you think that's more relegated to this plot?
Okay. So
or just Dio?
So so this is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, right?
Right.
So they've been constantly throwing new stuff at us that we wouldn't expect.
Right.
So I don't think the vampire thing could be a main thing, but they're not going to hold on to that as the only thing. If you think about it, from a standpoint of Dio needing to power up, he does need that might be something that needs to happen, because even though it was by circumstance and stuff, and maybe fate or whatever.
Right.
JoJo did beat him. So,
well, the idea was that he wasn't invulnerable. He just had godlike power. He just is an enhanced human.
Right. So in order for them to keep this adventure bizarre and take it to even more bizarre levels,
right,
I think that
they need to bring
the vampire thing isn't going to be that big of a deal.
See, here's the thing. I could see it being a blend because I could see the vampire thing being a very specific aspect of the bizarre part. Let's say that the vampire thing is its own thing, right? But let's say if JoJo, for instance, used the mask on himself because of his good nature and stuff, like he said, it unlocks the potential of the brain. And one of the things that I do in the earlier episodes is I take anything the main character says that's expository.
Well, any expository stuff that's said,
right? Because if you're a writer, it is so hard to put in fluff exposition.
Exactly.
You don't want to do it, actually, because it takes away from the story.
Especially in the beginning. And if you think about how JoJo's set up, they made everything super simple and super over the top so that they could specifically introduce it very quickly and give you a very strong idea of what's going on so that way then they can get on to the development of stuff.
Yeah, they did a very good job of showing and not telling when Dio fights that vampire guy before he gets burned by the sun in the second episode.
Yeah.
So in this instance, I think that the mask is actually a potential thing to bring about JoJo's unlocked potential.
Okay.
And JoJo, at some point, will become something else. And it's the idea that the vampire thing is for, like, those types of people.
Right, because if you think about it, Dio was a bit of a vampire even before then.
He was.
Because he was literally trying to suck them dry.
Not only that, he had the whole aspect of the thief going on, and the vampire is by its nature a thief.
Right.
They are essentially a parasite that lives off of the life energy of others.
Yep.
So it's a very good it's a very good like story metaphor.
Oh yeah.
Dio was essentially like a mosquito, a blood-sucking mosquito, aka a vampire.
Yep.
And his trying to drain the Joestars of what they had was only enough to hurt them, but it didn't break them. And I think there's a cool, like, thematic element to that. Yeah. But with that being said, I think that there is a very real potential for, the vampire thing to be a somewhat thing.
Right.
But the main thing is that there are going to be special people. Very bizarre people.
All right, yeah.
And I think that will be a part of the adventure in that.
And they did... Yeah, they did bring that up with the guy with the spinning razor hat or whatever coming back. Normally, when there's like characters like that, they're just in there for one episode and they're gone, right? So the fact that they brought him back means they're probably going to do that in the future with other characters that are a lot more important than he was.
Right. So the cast is very small, but it could open up very big, relatively quickly. I don't think it's going to happen like the next episode. But if they start trickling in
time skip,
if they start time skip, but if they start trickling in characters, that's basically what they're preparing for.
Right, and since this show is a bit of a long one,
yep, I could see that by the third season, like midway through it, they could have a serious cast of characters, especially if Jonathan Joestar is like the main character of this whole thing. They could do some like he could go some places. Like he could really I just think based on the pace of this, there's too much that we haven't seen.
Right.
Yes. Basically that
it's the third episode. But
well, not only that, but I mean like because of this pacing, it's not going to be mirrored exactly, but they could go so many places in terms of like story.
So, absolutely. Yes.
I think there will be bizarre special people with unlocked potential.
Yep. I would say that's
JoJo will
just
have
about
to
a given.
Deal with. Because this is a shonen.
Right.
This is by its nature a shonen, but I don't want to relegate it specifically to that.
Right, because it predates so many of our conceptions of what shonen means.
Right. But they had the whole, Jonathan getting stronger as he gets hurt, tougher kind of thing. There's that.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
the aspect of him kind of pulling through at the last minute by dumb luck and having that Terminator strength,
absolutely.
Kind of thing.
And
it's all good. Yeah.
And since this is a shonen, we know at least there's going to always be fights. So So if
at the very least, maybe every other episode, we will expect some kind of a fight.
And if Dio's gone, he's almost guaranteed not gone. Mm-hmm. But if he is, then we need more people for JoJo to fight. So,
also, we need a way for JoJo to essentially power up.
Yes.
Because Dio will not make the same mistake twice.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah. Good stuff.
Great
That's
episode.
our longest JoJo's episode thus far. Absolutely worthwhile, of course, because...
That was a good one.
Dang. Yeah. All right, guys, we're really glad we made this decision. Yep. We'll see you again next time, but until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.